What's up, Armchair Fandom? Welcome back to another video. Tonight we're going to be covering the Obi-Wan Kenobi series finale. Hopefully it's a series finale and we don't have a season 2 coming up of this garbage pile. But anyways, if you like our channel, subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, hit the like button. Hit the notification bell to be notified when we have more content available. And leave a comment in the comment section below. You can find us at Facebook at the Facebook group Armchair Fandom and on Twitter at armchair_fandom. And if you have any ideas for content or something you'd like to see us cover, just leave some comments in those social media sites. And without further ado, let's get going.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Oh, just thinking about this season.
Yeah, it seems like a little bit of your dark side abilities has been drained. Who knew all you had to have to defeat the dark side was some garbage Disney Star Wars content, and you could do in the dark side.
Well, I'm not going to say it did in the dark side, but I'm going to say that the dark side took a couple gut punches after this series. I will go on the record by saying that.
Literally and figuratively to
Yeah.
the gut.
Yeah, it was.
Evidently, all lightsabers are now in Star Wars is just bludgeoning objects. You can impale people through the gut and they can survive, but they're more effective if you turn them around and hit Darth Vader in the chest a few times and damage him, and then you can have your way with him with the actual dangerous end of the lightsaber. But with all that said, here we are. We're going to talk about the finale of this series. I would have had to have been expecting a lot from this series to say I'm disappointed. I've moved past the point of disappointment with Disney Star Wars. I knew what we was going to get when I saw the first trailer. I told you when I seen the new character exactly what was going to happen, that she was going to be the reason that Luke was still alive in the original trilogy. And of course, that's it. Obi-Wan failed to accomplish what he was on Tatooine to do. He was off on some kind of crazy harebrained mission, and had Reva not been merciful and turned back to the light side all on her own, Luke Skywalker would now be dead.
You know, and the thing that got me was it's just, after seeing people like Qui-Gon Jinn and others get stabbed right in the gut, it amazed me that a third sister Inquisitor, who's probably just in the dark side for a cup of coffee, manages to not only take a gut shot from Darth Vader, but mysteriously end up beating everybody to Tatooine. I thought maybe she could transfer her Force essence like Luke did in Last Jedi. It's the one thing that may seem plausible to me, but apparently not.
Well, that's a great place to segue into the beginning of this show, because whether you realize this or not, Reva is the greatest Force-using teleporter in Star Wars lore. And what I mean by that is the show opens with her already on Tatooine, like you just said. Last time we see her, she's crawling around, hanging on for dear life not to die. And when we pick up this week, she's already on Tatooine with one little bandage strapped around her lightsaber wound in her gut. And she's questioning a guy, a water salesman, after she takes care of the obvious good old boy Rossicist, and knocks his cup of water out of his hands using the Force. She questions the water merchant about the whereabouts of a farmer who we know to be Owen Lars. He's a moisture farmer because he lives on a desert planet, so he has to harness. He has to farm moisture out of the atmosphere. But anyways, so this scene takes place. She gets the information from this guy, okay, and of course they explain it later, but the explanation makes no sense. It's just like a line of dialogue they just threw in there because they knew it made no sense. They just throw in this cheap line of dialogue to make it make sense. She already has the information of where Owen Lars's homestead is. Later in the show, the person she gets that information from finds Owen, tells him that there's this inquisitor on her way to his homestead. Yet Owen is able to beat her back to the homestead. And how do they explain that later on in the show? Well, they have Beru tell Owen she'll probably attack at night.
Yeah, because I've never known inquisitors are like vampires; they only fight at night. I again,
what does she do for the rest of the day?
I guess she's healing up but yet you figure she's good to go. She made the Tatooine, no problem. I didn't know she had a ship. I didn't know what she used to get off Tatooine, but that's, hey man, it's Star Wars. You just take it for granted. Okay, well.
So we go from there to we pick up where episode 5 left off out in space. You had them pull the fast one over on Darth Vader. When he pulls that spaceship back down to the ground, the real spaceship with everybody on it takes off. And you asked last week, how's that Star Destroyer not taking care of that thing, trying to leave that planet? Well, we pick up with a callback to the New Hope. A New Hope. That's all Disney does is they just, like I've heard other people say in the last week, they just take stuff that they know we like, they retread it and give it back to us. But we don't need what we've already had. We want new stories. They can understand why people don't like their new stories because we've already had them. I mean, I defended Force Awakens when it came out as just a soft reboot and that it was paying homage to A New Hope. But evidently, that's all Disney knows how to do is just copy what's already come before their material. But we pick up in space. You got the Star Destroyer out there chasing this spaceship all these people are on. And evidently, they have no tracking, they have no aiming technology or anything because they're just.
Stormtroopers are shooting.
Yeah, they're firing one laser after another, intermittent lasers at this ship, and all it's doing to avoid being hit is just floating back and forth like this, real slow. And they finally get the hyperdrive. What's your take on that, man?
Well, I heard a couple of things. I'm like, okay, I figured I would get that answered about the Star Destroyer engage. Okay, Star Destroyer, Corellian. My favorite ship in all of Star Wars is Corellian Star Destroyer. That being said, it must have been the stormtroopers that were firing all the guns because they weren't even getting nowhere close. And apparently, tractor beams hadn't been invented yet. Why do you need to blow the ship up? Got no hyperdrive working yet. You get up there, you pull the sucker in on a tractor beam. I guess you can only catch the Millennium Falcon with a tractor beam, with the Millennium Falcon's a zillion times better than this ship. And then, of course, we're going to have the idea of Obi-Wan's like, I know he wants me, so we're going to go ahead and take this other ship that this ship just hatched, because apparently it can hatch multiple ships. I'm going to take it and I'm going to split. Then the Grand Inquisitor's like, I think we should keep on the mission and get the one ship. Who are you? You're the Grand Inquisitor. You shut up, know your role, and do what you're told.
Yeah, you don't talk like that to Vader.
You're not Grand Moff Tarkin. I mean, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, you don't cross-eye Vader, man.
I mean, only Tarkin would have said something like that, not the Grand Inquisitor. Sorry.
That was such a lame moment, man. And they're doing exactly what I said. I said after this series was over that there'd only be one legacy character left for them to degrade, and that was Darth Vader. Well, I'm sorry, that's already underway as we speak. Darth Vader is less intimidating after this show. I mean, it's hot. It's a hot mess. But like you said, when Obi-Wan separates from that crew and goes off toward this planet, Darth Vader takes off on his own in his own ship to chase him, and they have this confrontation on this planet. What really killed me, to jump ahead a little bit about this, is listen, there was no consequences to be had from what was going on with Reva. We know she's not going to kill Luke Skywalker. We know Owen Lars is not going to be hurt. We know Beru's not going to be hurt. They're in A New Hope. There was no suspicion, no edge of your seat, nothing involving the story with Reva. Yet they take this moment they know everybody's been waiting on, this showdown between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, and they keep cutting away from it to show us what's going on with Reva.
It'd have been better if they would have shown the Grand Inquisitor and the Star Destroyer trying to bring in the ship with all the dissidents on it. But no, we got to go to that, which we know it's going to happen. It's fait accompli. All that's going to matter, only thing that's going to be revealed by this is how either she dies, which we know she wasn't, or how she's going to be redeemed. That's the only thing that matter. We reveal it's how it's going to happen.
Yeah, and we knew she wasn't going to die. I mean, if they can make it work, if Disney could make $1 million off of a Reva series, if they could assure that they simply wouldn't lose money on it, they will make a Reva series.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm all for seeing Vader and Obi-Wan fight again, but that's the central part of this bloody series that everybody wanted to see. I know you got to have segues to other stories going along, but I really think you built up Leia for 5 episodes. I'd rather see what's going on with her than seeing Reva trying to chase down Luke, who we all know is going to be fine.
Yeah, that was a real surprise. Real surprise at the end when she didn't kill him. I couldn't hardly believe it. I was on the edge of my seat. But we have this showdown between Obi-Wan and Vader, and it's an okay. I heard somebody say it was the second best, the biggest shield that me and you know on YouTube. I'll give you one guess who it is.
Yeah.
Who is it?
John Campea.
Yeah. He said it was the second best lightsaber duel in Star Wars history. Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in Episode 1. The lightsaber duel of Attack of the Clones was better. The 2 lightsaber duels in Revenge of the Sith was better. The Return of the Jedi lightsaber duel between Darth Vader and Luke was better. This was a mediocre lightsaber duel. Just because it involved Vader and Kenobi, everybody's flipping out over it. It was mediocre. We find out that at one point that Obi-Wan is a super Jedi now, because evidently they're banking on the Rey line that the Force is used to make things float, because Obi-Wan at one point holds his arms out like he's Christopher Reeve Superman and raises about 400 boulders and just starts flinging them at Darth Vader. One moment, Darth Vader turns into the Incredible Hulk and uses the Hulk smash move on Obi-Wan and causes a crevice to open up and swallow Obi-Wan. Then he just starts burying him alive. But it was only after Obi-Wan had 4 flashbacks of Leia and 2 of Luke does he get his mojo back and is able to throw the rubble back off of him. I'm just ranting right now. I really don't care if this video is that long or not. I'm just getting through this. I don't care about the details. They even ripped off their own content by having Obi-Wan knock out part of Vader's helmet to where you can see half of Anakin's face. They've already done that in Rebels.
Twilight of the Apprentice, I know.
So, I mean, they're even ripping off their own self at this point because they don't know what to do with this property. What's your thoughts about that part of the show?
When I saw that, I'm like, okay, if I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, we had it in Rebels, and you had Matt Lanter, who was the voice of Anakin during the Clone Wars, and whenever the mask wasn't on. Okay, so now clearly on the Kenobi series, we're going to have Hayden Christensen and not Matt Lanter from the Clone Wars. I was okay. I wanted something more original, but I was okay hearing Anakin's voice. But hearing Anakin say, Obi-Wan said, "Well, I'm sorry, Anakin. Well, you didn't kill Anakin, I did." I don't know. That some of that dialogue left a little bit to be desired to me. I mean, I thought the lightsaber duel wasn't bad, but again, it's not the second best. I think that's way overstating it.
Yeah, it's way overstating it. All right.
I think the best lightsaber duel of all of them is the one with Anakin and Obi-Wan at the end of Revenge of the Sith. That's the best one, in my opinion.
Well, that one and the Yoda and Palpatine fight in the Senate.
Yeah, that was a shorter time and duration, but yeah, they had to squeeze them both in for time purposes. But yeah, that was good.
They were going on side by side. The Darth Maul fight in Phantom Menace was great.
It was.
A great lightsaber duel in Attack of the Clones was in Obi-Wan got hurt, and Anakin picks up his lightsaber, and he's going at Dooku with two lightsabers. Yeah. And it took Yoda showing up to save both of them.
Right.
And like I said, the lightsaber fight between Luke and Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back was better. The lightsaber fight between those two heck, man, there's lightsaber fights in the Clone Wars and Rebels that was better than this one.
Really, if you think about it, an underrated lightsaber duel is the one between Palpatine and Maul and Savage Opress. Now, that was a lightsaber duel.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was, I mean, somebody could say, well, wasn't there anything about this episode or this show that you liked? No, not really. I mean, there were some cool moments here and there, but it had too much garbage in it to really appreciate anything. The blaster bolt in episode 4 that took out a window on a base that was obviously purposely built underwater. You build it underwater, but you don't put glass in it strong enough to repel a blaster shot, even though you know you're going to have stormtroopers that can't shoot down there running around firing off their blasters. Just so many just stupid things in this series that makes no sense. Like I've already said, the Grand Inquisitor survived, Obi-Wan survived, Vader survived, Owen survived, Beru survived, Luke survived, Leia survived, Bail Organa survived. All these characters survived. There was no surprise.
All present and accounted for the next season.
All present and accounted for a movie that came out 45 years ago that we already know who's in it. There was no suspense at all.
It would have made.
I think it would have been. I think it would have been better if it hadn't have been so predictable, and they would have just let Reva cut Luke down at the end of it and be like, "Hey, we're retconning all of Star Wars." At least we'd have had something entertaining to talk about.
Well, I think, and I've had time to think about this, and it just occurred to me. I think that you'd have been better off, and again, you could tell the budget on some of this stuff was not up to specs. I'd have rather had a CGI Grand Moff Tarkin rolling on that Star Destroyer and trying to bring down Kenobi, because Kenobi's a big deal. But the Grand Inquisitor, I don't have much use for most of the Inquisitors, and I think you need to take advantage of still having in canon a guy like Tarkin still alive, and I think that made more sense to have him there. Maybe that's nitpicking, but again, there was some stuff about the show I did like. I mean, I thought the girl who played Leia was really good. I think they cast her well. I think Ewan McGregor's always good as Obi-Wan. I mean, and it was a thrill to see Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon Jinn. But again, like you talked about, only there for a bit.
For 8 seconds.
I mean, I don't know if they had enough money to just pay Liam Neeson for like 2 minutes, or they couldn't pay him 15 minutes. I don't know what the budget was, but I think you've already got the man there. Can't you give him more than about 2 or 3 minutes? I mean, he had at the end of the Clone Wars series.
Like me and you were talking before the show started, the last time Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon spoke was right after Qui-Gon got thrust through with Maul's lightsaber,
It didn't walk off.
and didn't walk off. He just evidently was the only person weak enough to be killed with a stomach shot with a lightsaber. But the last time they spoke, the last thing Qui-Gon said to Obi-Wan was to train the boy. He is the chosen one. He will bring balance. And then when he finally shows up, the conversation has nothing to do with Anakin. The conversation is, "Hey, Master Qui-Gon, I'm glad you finally showed up. Yeah, you're right, Obi-Wan. We got a lot to talk about." And they leave. They leave Luke there. We're right back where the show started. Obi-Wan's going to leave Luke alone. He's going to abandon him again, and just let fate take its course. They let Reva leave. This woman's obviously unstable. She can't decide if she wants to kill a bunch of little kids or wants to get justice for somebody else killing a bunch of little kids. But they just let her walk away, no consequences. She can change her mind at any minute and be like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and kill him now." They just let her be. And then the ending just took so long, man. They was like having these moments with Obi-Wan going back to visit Leia, giving her the pouch, the holster we see her wearing in A New Hope, all this stuff where they're trying to get the nostalgia effect to play on you. But the story was so bad leading up to this that none of that stuff even really matters.
I understand you have to have some new characters, and I don't have a problem with that. I just don't think this character was written very well, and I think she had a little too much power and a little too much knowledge for somebody that's not even on the top 2 or 3 of the food chain for the Inquisitors. That was never explained well, but yet here she comes back carrying Luke like the triumphal king returning from the battlefield. Well, way to go, Obi-Wan. Would you like to meet Luke now? You mean you ain't met him by now? Good grief! I mean, the guy's just almost died. Hey, hello there. Well, that makes the series for us. Hello there.
Yeah, and Luke's just standing over there looking like a Dumbo, like somebody I spoke with last night about it. Leia's given this whole show to shine and figure out problems, lead Obi-Wan around by the nose. Obi-Wan can't figure out stuff. She's helping him figure out stuff, being the actual hero. And the only moments we're given of Luke is him up looking through acting like he's a pod racer for a half a second. Then we see him sleeping in bed. And then the other thing we get from him is running from Reva until Obi-Wan made see him. He's just standing there looking at him like he's a dumb booger eater that don't know anything. I mean, we know Disney has an agenda at this point. Anybody that denies that is just insane, man. I don't know where we go from here. Like I said, I'm going to give the Andor series a chance. But if they don't deliver during that series, I'm going to be canceling Disney Plus. There's plenty of good content on Netflix. Stranger Things is better than anything Disney Star Wars has put out. Even seasons 2 and 3. That whole series is better than anything Disney has done with the Star Wars franchise.
The only thing that Disney did with the Star Wars franchise I think has been really good was season 7 of the Clone Wars and Rogue One. But, Stranger Things is more original content. There's more fan service. And there you go.
I don't know if this is a real user on our Facebook channel or somebody trying to mess with me.
I don't know. It says Facebook user, so I figure it's one of your many minions.
Yeah, whoever it is, they don't even. That comment makes no sense. What
Nope.
you thought Joker was Jason Bateman, or you spelled Batman wrong? Which is it?
It could be any of the two. Neither one of them sound very well for the comment.
And then I know this guy, Lane. Thank you for the comment. He says we should review the Halo series on Paramount. I might do that. I'm not a big Halo gamer.
Knowledge about it.
I've never played the game. So I might check it out. If I check it out and I'm not interested in the first episode or two, I probably wouldn't finish it. But I'll try to check that out
Right.
sometime this weekend. See if it's something that interests me.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know that. But like you say, it's over, and
thankfully,
well, again, I think there was some good. The show wasn't a total bomb. There were some good things in it, but the CGI with Tarkin at the end, I thought he don't even look like. I mean, I know he's shriveled up and got all those face problems, but I'm just like, that's very poor rendition of bringing Ian McDermott in to look like that. But okay.
oh, here's what I got to say to you about there was some good things in it. It wasn't a total loss. Take a piece of fake gold, for example. It looks pretty, but if you put it on your skin, it turns your skin green and all this stuff. It ain't even the real thing. This show is like a pile of dog turd with a piece of fake gold in the middle of it. It looks good and everything, but even when you uh, search through this dog turd and you find this piece of gold, you find out later it's not even real. Like, dude, when you go back to the original Star Wars trilogy as kids and we watched that, even the prequel trilogy didn't make the Force something that turned people into superheroes. Uh, Jedi, the Dark users of the Force, all the characters in Star Wars, they were they were they were different than like Superman, Batman, all this other superhero stuff. The Force was a very mysterious thing. Like Luke, part of his training on Dagobah was to try to lift the X-wing out of the swamp, and he couldn't do it. And Yoda told him why he couldn't do it. So you see Yoda lift it out, and it was a magical moment. Even Yoda, being the powerful Jedi he was, had to try really hard to use the Force to lift that X-wing out of it. Now people are using the Force to lift like 400 tons of stones to fling at each other. Uh, they're astral projecting themselves across the galaxy. They're feeling stuff from all the way across the other side of the galaxy. It's gotten ridiculous. There's no mystery to the Force anymore.
Force healing, let's not forget that one.
Force healing. I mean, there's nothing the Force can't do now. It's like they've taken something that was an awesome concept and they want to tell a certain part of a story. It's just like, yeah, but how does that make sense? The Force. Yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense. The Force. All right. We'll start accepting that as an answer for everything. Why is Reva so powerful? The Force. Why didn't she kill Luke at the end? The Force.
Well, I will say that I did not think it was a bad idea to have a character survive Order 66 and a callback to the Jedi Temple. I thought that was an original idea. I didn't have a problem with that. I think the way they developed the character was bad. I thought the pretext of the idea was a good idea. Okay, most of the Inquisitors, as we know, are people that were left from the Jedi Temple. Okay, you can take a youngling. Okay, but to go on and say, well, Vader knew she was plotting revenge on him and was going to take her out whenever he felt like it. Didn't he have bigger fish to fry than to take a youngling from the Jedi Temple and just wait for her to make the move?
Well, that's another problem I had with it is because if you go back, whatever episode that was, a lot of people have misinterpreted this. Reva has actually been struck through by Anakin's lightsaber two separate times. If you go back and watch that episode when she was a youngling and Anakin during Order 66 confronts her in the Jedi Temple, it's implied very highly there that he struck her through at that point, and then the moment we see in episode part 5 of this series when he strikes her through again. So she didn't just survive being struck through with Darth Vader's lightsaber once, but she survived it twice.
Yeah, again, I like the idea of having a new character introduced. I got no problem with new characters. But I think it just showed when I heard that the writer of this show did not know that Anakin was Darth Vader, I feared the worst. I was like, you're talking about Kenobi coming back from all these years. Shouldn't that be one of the first items in the box you check off? You do have some working knowledge of the lore.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just rushed it into production. And, again, I like the idea of introducing a new character with some kind of story. It's fine seeing Anakin, because basically you'd only saw a little bit of him in Revenge of the Sith when he was doing all Order 66. I had no problem with seeing him do more of that. But again, I think they were just trying to put the character over so much they neglected some of the finer points of developing a character, which is what's supposed to be done in a Disney Plus series as opposed to a movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it anymore at this point. There's so many different stories you could have told in this time frame. I mean, you could have had Obi-Wan and another Jedi teaming up for some kind of mission that forced Obi-Wan to go off-world.
Quinlan Voss, he was referenced early. Quinlan
Any,
Voss.
any of them. I mean, you could have created a new Jedi. They created one for the show, but they had him show up and had Obi-Wan just basically abandon him and let him get hung by the Inquisitors. I mean, does Obi-Wan need no redemption for allowing that to happen? I mean, it don't make any sense. Him joining another Jedi for some reason, you had Darth Maul available in this time frame. You could have had Maul trying to find him and Obi-Wan trying to hide uh, where he was at. Because if you remember in Rebels, Maul finds Obi-Wan and then he realizes that Obi-Wan is hiding somebody on Tatooine. That would have been a good story to tell, is tell Maul trying to find Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan having to disguise and hide the fact that Luke was on Tatooine from Maul and lead into that storyline in Rebels. I mean, there's so many stories you could have told, man. I mean, it's just, they only told this story for one reason. They had this original character in their mind that checked the right boxes, pushed the right agenda, and when you tell a story from that perspective and for that reason alone, they don't care about any of the other stuff. It's obvious they don't care one bit about this franchise. It's just repetitive at this point to even keep pointing it out. They don't care about it.
Yeah.
So you either continue to watch this garbage, or you don't. Andor's my last stab at Disney Star Wars. If that show doesn't deliver on some level, then I'll be checking out. I've already checked out of the Marvel shows on Disney Plus. Miss Marvel, not interested. I watched the first 2 episodes. It's nothing more than a teen dramedy at this point. I won't be finishing watching that series. So, Thor: Love and Thunder, man, it's got a lot to do for me to keep paying attention to even the MCU stuff.
Yep. I'll agree. And the thing of it is, only thing I'm looking forward to with Disney Star Wars in the future is Mandalorian Season 3. Other than that, I don't know.
The only reason I'm interested in Andor is because I like Rogue One so well.
I'll give it a chance, but I'm not expecting much. I'm not making that mistake again.
No, I'm not expecting much, but I'll give it a chance. For one, a couple of people I follow on YouTube said it's got a really good writing staff. So we'll see. Yeah, okay. We'll see how that pans out. But anyways, man, any final thoughts?
Again, I'm glad they did the series, believe it or not. I think this, you and I discussed it at one point. Star Wars is clearly a film franchise, and if you're not going to do justice to the characters by having the proper CG and the proper story developed in it, I'd rather you not do it. But all that being said, I thought the little girl played Leia was great. It was great seeing Jimmy Smits again, who never ages, apparently. It was good seeing Hayden Christensen back. I mean, that's the one thing. You got to take some positives out of it. Seeing Hayden Christensen back in any Star Wars is a big deal. He really caught a lot of grief for the prequels, and the prequels weren't bad. It wasn't him.
Well, this ain't my complaints with the show isn't toward anybody who acted in it. For example, Ice Cube's son, which I heard people referring to him as crushed ice.
Yeah, literally.
But Crushed Ice, man, I really liked him in the movie Straight Outta Compton. He played his dad in that movie because it was a biopic about uh, their group NWA back in the 80s. And he done a really good job in that movie. So I was excited to see him in this. So it's not a knock on anybody that was in this show except the producers, the writers, everybody behind the scenes that just completely dropped the ball. I'm really hard pressed to find anything in the whole series that I really enjoyed. Uh,
Well, I enjoyed seeing.
I think I think this is a show we didn't need. It was a story that didn't need to be told. Uh, it done nothing for me except make the original Star Wars movie, A New Hope, seem weird. Now, if you go back and watch it, I mean, you got Princess Leia calling for Obi-Wan, saying nothing about their past adventures together, just all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, no, it ain't good. I would give this show about a 4 out of 10 overall.
I'd give it about a 5.5. I'd give it a 5.5 because there were some good things I liked about it, but again, the writing was poor. Pushing the agenda didn't do it for me, and I again, I mean, nothing against Moses Ingram who played the third sister. I think she did the best she could. I don't think her character was written well, and I think even the best actors can't overcome bad writing. I think that's part of the problem.
It definitely wasn't written well. I mean, what was I going to say? I don't remember. Last thoughts.
Well, like I say, I'm glad I watched it, but I expected more. But then again, with Disney Star Wars, what we've learned is that it always leaves you wanting more. That's what I've
Yeah,
learned.
it definitely leaves you wanting more. I thought we was in good hands until the Rise of Skywalker, but man, after that movie, everything since then has been subpar. I know people like Mandalorian and they like the Book of Boba Fett. Some do, some don't. I still like the Mandalorian. Uh, we'll see what happens with those two shows,
Right.
Book of Boba Fett. But I hope they don't do another season of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Just leave it alone. That's what I was going to say. If you go look at the audience score for this show, it's hovering around 60%, 6 out of 10. But I can go back. Maybe we'll do this at a later time. I did it quickly today. You go back and look at all the Star Wars movies, even the prequels. The lowest prequel movie score from the fans was like Attack of the Clones, and it was still at a 52%. And if you compare a 52% 2.5 hour movie to a 60% 6 episode show, I would argue that the 52% movie is actually rated higher than a 6 part show that's at 60%. So maybe we'll
Well,
compare
it
this
was an
show
experience.
to the other scores. But with all that said, man, uh, where can everybody find you at, Ashley?
Find me on Facebook at Ashley, at Ashley Houchins on Facebook, and you can find me at Twitter at Ashley Houchins. Just look for the Korriban landscape, and that's Darth Pane, ready to converse anytime you want.
All right, you can find me on the Facebook group Armchair Fandom and on Twitter at armchair_fandom. Remember, if you like our channel, subscribe, hit the like button on this video. If you enjoy any of our content, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you know when we got another more content available, and leave comments. Let us know what you would like to see us cover in the future. Uh, Sometime this weekend, I'm going to check out Halo and see if I can get into it. If I like the first couple of episodes, I might watch the whole series. And with that said, we're going to be out of here, man.
All right. Talk to you later. Be good.